Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. Well, I want to cover a couple of things today. The two pretty much pressing things that are going on right now is energy and food. We want to talk about that some more. I understand I've been talking about it quite a bit lately, but it's extremely important. And there's some things that are still happening and changing. We need to be aware of it so that we can prepare for it because in case if there's anyone left that watches this channel that hasn't figured out that we are watching the collapse kind of happen, you should probably listen. And not only the collapse, but watching an orchestrated collapse. I believe that that's just more and more apparent as we see things happening. We're watching energy prices skyrocket. Now Biden administration is banning the importation of any kind of Russian energy, their oil, gas, any kind of energy. And instead of doing the logical thing and saying, oh, but we're gonna open up pipelines and renew leases and encourage drilling and expand our own production of these energy components, they're doubling down on, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to encourage people to research and build and develop, green energies and, renewables and things of that nature, which is, well, only going to make the certain billionaire companies wealthier. It's certainly not going to help you, the individual. I know the encouragement is as well, the easy answer is just, sell your car and go buy an electric vehicle. Well, that doesn't work for those of us that can't afford a $50, $60, or $100,000 brand new vehicle. It's just not a good option, and we all know that. But as we see the sanctions increase and the craziness of just not and refusing not to expand our own resources and pushing everyone to these electric alternatives, which really aren't alternatives at all, to me just further proves that this is all just part of their orchestrated plan, because the net zero carbon emission and the green energies are absolutely right out of the playbook of the World Economic Forum and the Great Reset. But there's a whole lot more going on, and we need to be aware of it. Just to start things out, I first want to mention, we're talking about food and food prices, and folks, I worry that it is really going to get bad. I don't think a lot of people have really kind of wrapped their head around how bad it's going to get. And you should be stocking up as much as you can. One of the items that you can stock up on is long-term freeze-dried food. I understand it's more expensive. It's more expensive than just going out and buying bags and cans of food, but there is a benefit to it. And I don't think you should go out and spend all of your money on this stuff. But if you go to preparewithtravis.com, you can buy this stuff. It's shelf stable for 20, 30 years. And this is the reason why I think it should be part of it, of your plan, part of your resources, is that it's super easy to produce. Super easy to make a meal. You just take this stuff, it's already cooked, it's just freeze-dried, you add hot water to it, and you have a meal. And in the immediate aftermath of collapses or nuclear war or World War III or hyperinflation or grid down, things are going to be hectic and panicked for you. And you're not really going to want to pull out all the food and try to cook from scratch, because that's probably what you're going to have to do for a while, maybe forever. And to kind of create a little buffer of craziness and reduce stress, having something that you can just easily add some hot water to it and feed your family and not have to worry about all the things of this immediate collapse that you would be dealing with, and cooking a full meal so that your family is fed. That's where I think this really comes in. Now, I don't know that you need to have 2 or 3 years worth of it, but a 30, 60, or 90-day supply, I think, is something that you should consider if you can. So you can go to preparewithtravis.com and find some more information about that. But the food stuff is bad. The oil prices, bad. Look at this oil. It's been flirting now. It spiked at 130 and it came down, and it's yesterday flirted with 120 up and down around the 120. Now we're heading back up closer to that 130 mark. The Analysts and stuff here in the United States are saying that we will probably see $200 a barrel by the end of this month. And they're predicting up to $300 or more a barrel by summer. Okay, folks, and that's the Russians are saying that, and people here in the United States are saying that. $300 a barrel by this summer, $200 by the end of this month. I mean, we've never seen oil prices like that. And when oil starts to get to that point, the amount of economic chaos that's going to cause is just most people can't probably wrap their heads around it. When fuel prices get so much that you're not even sure you can get to work, you can afford to go to work. Think of the truckers delivering, and think of a lot of truckers in the United States are self-employed. They're owner-operators. Will they be able to keep in business? Because they can't afford the fuel. The fuel costs so much that they can't afford to deliver. This is going to cause things, and there's way more things that's affected by rising oil prices. But this is serious. 127 or so as of the making of this video, and it's just going up, up, up. Gold set a record today, an all-time record high. It just keeps going up. We're at 2,070 something. You can watch it throughout the day, but we're at an all-time record high. Why? Because people realize that the economy is starting to get into that free fall mode. It's starting to crumble and fall apart and collapse. And about the only thing that's really solid and really secure that you can count on are things like gold and silver. Silver's gone up too. Silver's skyrocketing. And I suspect at some point these two commodities are going to really skyrocket. Most people in the industry say that gold should really be about 5,000 an ounce, and that silver should really be around 1,000 an ounce. And there's no telling how high it will get the worse things get with all this. Wheat and all the other ag commodities just keep skyrocketing. It's getting harder and harder to find some of these for you, the people. I've had a lot of people contact me and say, that the store that I would normally buy bulk wheat, it's either gone or it's just ridiculous priced. I mean, it's just out of the ballpark. Same way with gasoline. Even here in the Ozarks, where gasoline it's one of the cheapest places. In fact, a lot of times when there's spikes in gas prices, the Ozarks enjoys some of the very cheapest gas prices in the country, and we're seeing $4 a gallon around here. In other places, it's $4.50 and $5.50, and I've even seen some well over $6 a gallon in the country. The people can't keep this up, especially considering that we've had 2 years of solid economic downturn. We've seen a year of solid inflation increases, all the shutdowns and everything that's happened. So it's not like we've gone into this, folks, with a solid economy. It's not like we've walked into this war and to this great reset and all this stuff with a good, solid economy. They tenderized us for like 2 years. They got us softened up so that when the blow came in, it was going to be devastating. And that's what we're going to see. We're going to see absolute devastation if this continues. And it looks like it's going to. There's no real signs right now that it's going to kind of back off. Like I said, Biden has said we're cutting off, Russian oil. Well, Russia provides somewhere around 10% of the oil in the United States. That's pretty significant considering all the other things that are going on. And are we going to produce our own or increase? No, of course not. We're going to run down to Venezuela and we're going to beg them to produce more for us instead of doing just the logical, simple thing. It's all pre-planned, folks. We see it, and it's all pre-planned. But there's other things going on. I've been talking about wheat. I've been talking about fertilizer, and I met someone that works in the coal mining industry that knows the insides. Okay, this is an industry insider. He was talking to me, and he said, everyone's been talking about the fertilizer for the farmers. this ammonium nitrate that's skyrocketed because just that one fertilizer component, Russia produces about 25% of it on the planet. And the prices have skyrocketed and there's shortages, and everyone's talking about farmers. He said, but that's one of the key ingredients that's used in the mining industry. And this guy was in coal mining. He said they use just a ton of it, tons and tons and tons of it every day for blasting. And he said the deeper they have to go into these mines to get the coal veins, he said the more that they have to use it. He said, so right now there is this fight between the mining industry and the farming industry on who's going to buy up what remains of this component. And he said right now the mining industry has the bigger buying power, and they're buying it up, and they're buying up everything they can because they see this happening. And he said that means not only was there going to be less to begin with for the farmers, now there's even less than that, because the coal mining, they've got the bigger pocketbooks, and they see this happening. They see these shortages, coming, and they have just been buying up as much as they can. So what that means in the long run is that there's even less fertilizer for the farmers. There's less chemicals for them. And I'm not advocating chemicals in farming, not for a minute, but the fact is that's what they use for all this big commercial farming. And when it's not available, that means the amount of food is less, okay? China is saying that their winter wheat production is the worst in history. That weather is causing it to be the worst. And they're a fairly major player, even if they don't do a lot of export. This is wheat for themselves. And so if their wheat's taken off the market, remember all this that I've said, and I've been saying this for the last few weeks, that we are in a global market. Like it or not, everything's global. And if one player, a big player, even though they may not supply our wheat here in the United States, and they're taking off the market, it creates global shortages, and it creates a global increase in prices, which is going to affect us. It just is. It's how it works. It's unfortunate. We're not an isolated nation anymore. And so when these things happen in other countries, they directly affect us, and we should most certainly be aware of it. The next thing that we start seeing happening, and we need to be cautious of this, and you should remember 2 years ago, the start of the health crisis, the panic, when that set in, okay? So with all this that's happening, people are focused on the actual war going on in Ukraine. As we all know, the t-shirts, the bumper stickers, the Hollywood people, it's all focused on the Ukrainians and the war. And you and we're seeing all the other stuff. We're seeing the shortages and the economic side of this. The regular people, they're going to start seeing the shortages too. Mainstream news is now starting to talk more and more. I've seen just in the last 12 hours or so, the rapid increase in articles talking about the global crisis, global food crisis, that this is, here's one article talking about it. It's going to create hell on earth. Like we're talking about famine level global crisis in food. Starvation. They're talking about, some of these poorer countries, there's going to be mass starvation. This is the stuff that's hitting the news. And as this story gets told more and more, and the regular people start hearing it, there's going to be more and more people think, maybe all this stocking up stuff isn't as crazy as it sounds. Maybe I should get out there and buy some more and stock up. So at some point, the likelihood of seeing panic in the grocery stores where people are starting to stock up more is much more likely as we start to see and hear more of these stories in the news kind of telling what's going on. So if you're able to stock up now, if you're able to make a run to the grocery store, make a run to wherever you purchase your supplies, certainly do so. Get ready. Seeds, stock up on seeds. I'd say that those are going to start being sold quite quickly as things get worse and people realize that food is in short supply or will be, and the prices are skyrocketing. I don't think we're too far off from starting to see grocery stores just not buying as much stuff because the prices of goods is so high. The two, I mean, we're talking two of the most important things on this planet that keeps economies going is oil, obviously, and then your main food components, wheats was one of the main ones, and when those two things are in shortage, and the prices are skyrocketing to unseen levels, it's the ripples around the world are going to be quite great. We're not talking ripples, we're talking tsunamis. And this is why we have to get serious, folks. I don't know how else to say it. Start doing some research over on our TPH Network website. That's tph.com. tphnetwork.com. There's a lot of discussion on there, and there's a lot of people offering suggestions. You know, people are researching online good places to purchase, places in their area, and they're sharing that with others so others can take that advantage of trying to purchase the things that they need or just stock up. There's people sharing a lot of stuff on canning and just, you know, personal health, herbal healing, all that kind of stuff to help everyone get as ready as possible before this starts happening. And like I said yesterday, we're really out of that phase of preparedness. Yes, you can still prepare. Of course, do so. But we are now in a stage of readiness, and that's what we really have to focus our efforts on, is getting ourselves ready, which is very different than preparedness. So keep doing that. Folks, I think we're seeing things happen quite rapidly, probably faster than most of us ever thought. I'm working on a video, hopefully maybe today or tomorrow it will be out, and it will be what to do, the different things to do after the collapse happens. What do you do the first 24 hours, the first few days, the first week, the first month, the things that you can start doing after the thing happens, whether it's nuclear war, World War III, complete collapse, hyperinflation, grid down, and we'll cover a lot of that in that video that I'm working on, so be looking for that one. All right, folks, thank you for watching. I'll catch you in the next video.